Hey, everybody, welcome to another week of Available Work. I'm Commissioner Joe Esparza here at TWC. And so today we have a series of mini episodes that we're calling Your Business Brief. And a lot of these were recorded during our workforce conference last year. So you're going to hear funny sound as far as the sound quality is great. I still think they're pretty good. But you'll probably hear some background noise there too. But I was very excited. We had a whole bunch of employers and stakeholders all in the same room, and I tried to pester enough of them to sit down with me so that, they were recorded. We've got a good range of guests, everyone from workforce board leaders, some EDs, to employers and industry leaders, and also to some specific individuals I think are just great people and doing great things for our veterans community and for our reinforcing our vocational rehabilitation. Also, some good examples of employers using resources that the state provides. So I hope these are very helpful to you. They're very quick, so you'll get in and out of these here pretty quick. But this week we're featuring discussions with Adrian Lopez. My friend Adrian is the executive director of the Workforce Solutions Alamo board there in San Antonio and the surrounding counties. And also Tony Davis is an industry leader in manufacturing. So these are going to be a fun couple episodes. So let's get ahead and get into this week's first business brief. Adrian Lopez from the Alamo board, Workforce Solutions Alamo.
Yeah.
Board. Yeah, there we go. And obviously San Antonio and surrounding areas. Adrian, thanks for coming. And introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit how long you've been there. What's fun about San Antonio? I love San Antonio.
So thank you, Commissioner. I really do appreciate the opportunity to come and speak. It's really great to have the opportunity for us to explain what happens, right, in the 28 workforce boards.
Yeah.
So again, Adrian Lopez, I'm the CEO for Workforce Solutions Alamo. We cover 13 counties, largely the Bexar County as the urban hub, and then 12 other rural counties surrounding the area.
That's great. Talk about what's happening right now in San Antonio. Who's moving in?
Yeah, San Antonio it's really quite fascinating, right? So it's not only what's happening in San Antonio, right? It's what's actually happening in the region. So if you look at the region, and if you look at the sort of like what happens in Bexar County, but also Guadalupe, Comal, Medina, Atascosa, there's just this explosion of development, right? Both economic development, housing development, all sorts of really great stuff that's happening. And so production of, new jobs is just exploding, right? And so if you look at, for example, the corridor from Austin to San Antonio and, Round Rock all the way to Lido, Texas, which is about 1,500 people, there's just a ton going on. And so I think that's what makes our job, even more important, and what happens with Texas Workforce Commission and, of course, with the 28 workforce boards.
Yeah, you mentioned Lytle. They recently got a JET grant for their high school that was focused, and I thought this was really neat, on culinary.
Yes.
In the rural area for culinary students. That is
So
see that happen.
Well, I think that also sort of kind of, talks about and maybe lends itself to, you can live in Lido, but you can work in San Antonio, in Bexar County, right? If we look at sort of what happens in the dynamics of, somebody living in one county but working in another, right? It really speaks to sort of how labor force and the labor shed actually, sort of translates, right? And so, for example, I think on a daily basis, we probably have about 70,000 people that go back and forth throughout the region, outside of the region. And so it's important for like us as, workforce boards, with in conjunction with, Texas Workforce Commission to understand that and to be able to feed that and facilitate all of that great, economic activity that's happening. Yeah.
We had Judith Ibarra from the Texas State Technical College on earlier.
Yeah.
And we talked about a little bit about what's going on in New Braunfels. Could you also talk a little bit about the partnership between the Texas Fame chapter that's in Alamo?
Yeah, so we were extremely happy to be part of, or be selected rather, as the only workforce board, I think, in Texas that, has partnered with Texas Fame. So if you're familiar with Fame, it was a model that was created by Toyota in Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's in large part to be able to sort of recruit, not only students, but employers into advanced manufacturing, right? And so now we are the hub for that. which offers us the opportunity to use our resources and use for example, our centers, our partnerships with school districts to be able to recruit kids to get into these types of jobs, and then work, of course, closely with our training partners like Alamo colleges to get folks into that. So it's a really great relationship between employers, industry, training providers, and then of course the work that we do, which is we bring people to the table.
That's awesome. And the Alamo region has just almost endless supply of partnerships that are happening. Obviously, military installations that are there. You have like DoD as far as cybersecurity companies that are planting their flags there as well.
Yeah.
Advanced manufacturing, Toyota. Yep. It's all over the place. Let's go into the summer earn and learn, which is I'm very excited. Always excited about this initiative. Tell us a bit about the SEAL program, and just some of the partnerships you have with the employers there in the Alamo area.
Yeah, that's one of the programs that I think is kind of the highlight of the work that we do. So our summer earn and learn, like this past year, we probably had about 300 plus, participants. We probably had about, anywhere from 20,000 or so hours of work experience. And these are for individuals who obviously have some level of disability, right? When we look at what's going on with the unemployment rate, and when we look at job creation, we have to start looking at how are we going to look at other populations to start to fill those jobs, right? So we have really great partners like Toyotsu Texas and Toyota and others that are willing employers to say, hey, I'm willing to sort of open up the opportunity for those with disabilities to be able to fill in the HR needs that we have. And so when you have something like the SEAL program or the Summer Earn and Learn program to help finance that, it really gives an opportunity, one, for employers to be able to sort of try that out, right, on our dime and our dollar, but also for clients to be able to sort of get, something as fundamental as maybe $1,500 that they earn over the summer, and that $1,500 goes to pay school supplies, it goes to pay school, clothing, that type of stuff, but also about the enhancement of that individual to feel the pride of what they get outside of, what they're experiencing in school and at home. They get to experience like, hey, they're part of the Toyota team. That's transformational.
Yeah, and that's so great. I know a lot of the program, some of the students that I got to talk to, they looked you in the eye. They talked very, very excitingly and positive and optimistic about the work that they're doing. And I think it's why we're here. If we're here to provide meaningful work that you can enjoy and be proud of. And I think a lot of the kids that go through, I say kids because they're middle, high school, they're going through these great programs with some really good employers.
Yeah.
And it's impressive. I mean, it was pretty impressive the first time I got to talk to some of those folks that were doing the work. So.
Well, you were part of, this past, or actually this year, right? Around, I think we did it around February or January.
Yeah, or very early on when I got here. Yeah.
When we recognized the employers that actually participated, and so I really do appreciate, your participation in regards to that. Yeah. But the gentleman that spoke, right, one of the clients that spoke at that, that participated in the SEAL program. Just months before that, we had done a graduation because we were recognizing the kids that actually went through that. And out of all the kids that we recognized, he came up to me and he's like, "Sir, are you the CEO?" And I said, "Yes." And he's like, "Well, I want to speak at the next event." It was his request.
That's awesome.
And I was like, "Oh, man, that's super great." So I told staff, let's make sure we have him on an agenda. So you got to witness that, right? And it's those small things that really, really change people's lives over the long term, right? And so we're super, grateful to actually have the opportunity to serve folks like that and to work, of course, in partnership with Texas Workforce Commission.
Well, I'm very excited. I'm going to put you on the spot, and this you may not have an answer, but what can I help you with in this next coming year there in the Alamo area?
Yeah, I think
what kind of fun can we have?
Yeah, no, it's a combination of things. I mean, I think, obviously, this next coming year, we're always going to continue to have challenges associated with how do we continuously meet the needs of employers and the industries that we support, right? So anything that sort of kind of helps facilitate that type of stuff, helping out with sort of kind of like reducing the amount of regulation, if you will, so that we can set up a context and an environment where employers are willing to be at the table. Clients are willing to come and say, hey, yeah, I want to take advantage of the programs that come to fruition. So it's just those types of things. I know it's kind of a general answer, but no, it's just those types of things that I think make a difference.
Well, that'll be good. We also appreciate y'all for one of our first initiatives that we were able to conclude for our Texas Intern Unite, Texas Interns conferences, jointly with St. Philip's, with Alamo colleges, right?
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. We got a lot of employers meeting with, engaging with students that are coming out of college, to looking for internships. We did mock interviews. We had some money. We talked some finance. We talked some money. So we're gonna be doing more of those all across the state. Maybe hopefully another one somewhere in your region. That will pop up here pretty soon. But Adrian, always we appreciate your friendship. We appreciate all the hard work you're doing, and I always appreciate your experience and helping me understand just how things are working there at the workforce level. So we always appreciate that. Thanks for stopping in and joining our little show.
Thanks, Commissioner. I appreciate your leadership, and thanks for involving us and keeping us informed. And so thanks so much, and best of luck with you and the rest of the commission, and of course, working alongside, of course, the governor's office, and whatever we need to do, we're happy to help out.
Absolutely. And thank you, Adrian. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're here with Tony Davis, right?
That's right.
We brought you on. Thank you for coming over here. You represent the manufacturing. You represent the FAME chapters here in the state of Texas. But Tony, one thing I'll have to tell you is I'm always excited to get involved with the with manufacturing organizations. I love the FAME blueprint, but I wanted to see if we can talk a little bit about kind of the footprint that you have here in the state of Texas, and a little bit about what FAME is, and all the great things that you guys are doing helping the manufacturing industry out.
Awesome. Well, love to hear we love manufacturing. That's all we're all about here, the backbone of the American economy. So, and Texas is a great state for that. So when you think about FAME, FAME is this model of skills development. It's really the model for skills development in manufacturing. We look at that as the new American model for skills development in manufacturing. Love to say it that way. You think about this in terms of technical build-out, building the person, professional behaviors, making them really great teammates and employees people want to have there, and lean thinking, critical thinking, problem solving. We build all that in the FAME. So when we think about FAME, it's the Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Education. That's really this network we've got. And here in Texas, we've got a great footprint and a growing footprint, and lots of opportunity as we look at this. So I'll start a little higher level and think about just the national scope of this. This is a program that we've been building for several years. It's much older than that, but here at the Manufacturing Institute where I am, that's where we've been really building this development nationally. We've now got chapters coast to coast. I'd love to say that too. It's a pretty recent development, but from California down to Daytona Beach, Florida, down here in San Antonio, Texas, all the way up to Ann Arbor, Michigan, everywhere in between.
What was the connection between Toyota? Did it start at a Toyota, out of the brainchild of something at Toyota?
It did, and when I say it's much older, that's why it's much older.
Gotcha.
When Toyota started operations, motor manufacturing, I should say, over in Kentucky, that was back in the late 80s. They needed an internal training program, and this is where they turned to. They began to develop this. And so in true TPS fashion, continuous improvement, it's gotten better and better and better. And then in 2010, it kind of took a little different turn, which is what we look at a lot today in terms of this chapter development collaboration that we see. And that's how it began to grow. And San Antonio is the result of one of those Toyota plants growing this in their locations across the country. And we bring from that multi-skilled technicians and lean. Those are really big carry-throughs from the times when it began with Toyota. And it makes them the best they can be. Global best, entry-level, multi-skilled maintenance technicians. Mouthful, I know, but that's what it is. So, that's the impetus for Texas, actually. It was Toyota there. So, Toyota in San Antonio began that chapter. It's one of our older chapters here, and it's a great chapter. But from that, we've actually grown now in other places. And so Texas now has a chapter in San Antonio. We've grown out in Seguin, out there just a little east of that. Another great manufacturing community there, growing rapidly. We've moved down in the deep southeast, down in Orange, Texas. Got some growth going there. And two in the Dallas Metroplex. So we've got one kind of in Garland and one sort of on the southeast side of that. So right now 5, but we've got other areas that are already looking and exploring and building those collaboratives. And so when I look at the strength of manufacturing in Texas and think about what this model means, and when you marry that with the opportunities in Texas and the needs that we have in manufacturing in general, it's a lot of opportunity for growth for FAME here in Texas.
That's awesome. So I was at one of the Dallas chapters where I first was introduced to the program. One of the things that first jumped out at me was the professionalism of the students that were there, and how they presented, and that's part of the curriculum, right? It's not only
Absolutely.
we're not only training technical skills. We're training how to carry yourself, how to be a good representative of not only the chapter but of the companies that you're going to be working for. So talk about that and a little bit of the partnerships.
Yeah, I'd love to. So to your point, there's an old adage that says we hire them for their hard skills and we fire them for their soft skills. And that's what we see.
Yeah.
And there are great programs that train really strong technicians, I guess. But in this program, we really focus a lot on that individual as well. But to do that, we've got to have a number of partners, as you alluded to. And so to start with, we have employers. And we've heard a lot, and we continue to hear, and I love to hear, employer-led. Employers have got to have this voice. So I love having the conversation like this. And we listen to that voice. That is the only way that FAME moves forward as a model.
Yeah.
When these employers come together and say, this is a solution set that we'd like to see, this is helpful for us, it's a good model, it meets our needs, bingo, let's make this thing happen. But it's not just the employers, because then we have to also rely on our colleges. Our community college partners, accredited community colleges that can go in there, they're very nimble, they're willing to work. Their main audience are these manufacturers, these employers, and that's great because that gives us a good base for our development there. And we partner with them to help make sure we're delivering those other elements of the program as well. So now you've got this collaboration of employers, they're all working with the community college, but there's even more because now you have the groups like the workforce development boards.
Yeah.
You have groups, economic development organizations and other groups in the community that all look at this and say, this is good for us. It's good to have an outlet that is good for our individuals who are, particularly those who are leaving high school, the emerging workforce, to have not just a first job or a part-time job or whatever, but a career.
Yeah.
Like we are starting careers on day one, awesome careers in manufacturing that are lifelong careers. And so this collaboration is not only a way for the employers to work together to meet their common need, but it's a way for a group of organizations and employers in a community to come together and really meet the needs of that local economy.
That's right. You said local economy. So your partners have instructors. I mean, as far as the partnerships or the companies provide the instructors.
The community college is key here. Yeah. So, the college is going to have their certified instructors who are already teaching these associate degree programs.
Right.
These students are earning an associate degree. So they'll be young adults with a degree in hand when they finish the program. We're going to train them. We here at FAME USA and the MI, we'll train those instructors then to be able to deliver those really intensive manufacturing core exercises that really bring the lean elements in, as well as the professional behaviors part of this. And it's really kind of an immersion. But we make sure those instructors know how to do it. They know the why behind it and the how. And they become really important partners for us as well. And that's how we make sure we build all these things in. So again, very, very local based. It's the employers in a community, the ones that are generational supporters of the community that are there, whether it's a household name or not. They're major employers. They're important employers. And I got to say that important employers are not necessarily the biggest employers. They're all important employers.
Yeah.
And this gives them a chance to really have some really highly trained, specialized individuals working with, again, a locally serving community college. So it's a great way to build that strong collaborative that it kind of looks inward. It says, how do we take care of our community here?
I love to see it, man. I love to get tours of machine shops and all the stuff that when those instructors are teaching those students. I just always love to see what
the look on their faces. I mean, these are students who just love this kind of stuff. So you have instructors who love to teach it.
Yeah.
And then they're giving back. A lot of them have this experience, for decades maybe, and now they're doing this. But these students, this is a chance that they have chosen this intentionally and said, I want to work. I want to get my hands dirty. I want to do these things. I want to fix it. I want to know how it works, and I want to fix it, keep it going. And so just to watch them in this training opportunity is great. And as you mentioned earlier, to have a student who's working on these things, that's great. But then to have them stand up straight and tall, be dressed right, to look at you, shake your hand, make eye contact, introduce themselves, that's a next level piece of it as well.
Presentable.
And we go so much further than that in the professional behavior development.
That's great. Like I said, that we want to get job seekers, like 352,000 high school seniors about to just get unloaded out into the workforce each year. We want them to be excited about getting into a career as soon as possible. If they're going into 4-year college, if they're looking to get into the career workspace, immediately and have a meaningful and great company experience, employer experience. These are the great programs that are out there.
Absolutely.
And again, like I said, we just want to get folks excited about it. teach them a skill that they're going to be used to carry themselves the rest of the career. What's on the horizon there for Fame chapters? Expansion. I think is probably
and more expansion.
Yeah,
all the way. It's like coast to coast, and now I want to fill it all in.
That's great.
But it's growing steadily. I'm expecting to add more states here in the next year. But it's the growth has been phenomenal, and it's going to continue that way. And so, love to see it again. Love to see more growth here in Texas. Lots of opportunity for that. Growth across the country. I want to note another thing about the program that, we talk about the kids coming out of high school, and that's awesome. That's where most of the students come from. It's important to note also that we have a lot of folks veterans who are leaving their military service, and those who just kind of want to reskill or upskill, coming out of a different sector. We need you in manufacturing.
Yeah.
And these are great programs for that too. So we actually have about 20% of the folks in the program are not right out of high school. And so, anyone listening, these are manufacturing offers so many amazing benefits, and it's such a great, strong career. And programs like this are just a great way to get your foot in the door and really propel that forward in terms of your success in the sector.
So, Tony, anybody interested that's looking to transition or get involved or get plugged into a local chapter, where do they go?
Oh, man, perfect. ApplyToFame.com. Super simple. ApplyToFame.com. That's how you can actually join a chapter. But you can learn so much more also at fame-usa.com. Fame-usa.com. Tons of information there, no matter what your perspective is, where you're coming from. If you're interested about Fame, want to learn more, that's a great place to get started.
All right, folks, job seekers and employers, if you're looking to partnership with Fame, there's your goal. Look it up, get some information, and contact Tony Davis. Tony, thank you so much for jumping on this podcast for a little bit. And like I said, we're probably going to be pulling you into more episodes down the road when we want to talk more manufacturing.
Sounds great. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot, Tony.